The movers and the shakers, number one, never let somebody censor you.
I am a native of Gabon.
Go back to the Holy Quran for solutions. Now the Quran bin Shah Zumba.
And you'll know Abdul-Jalil Imam Mahmoud Alhaji Nuhu Imam Mustafa.
Look at your beauty beyond your physical appearance.
Why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, the son of Musa Kumo, as my guests and I throw you to life-changing stories. Hello, good evening and welcome again to another edition of My Northern Achiever with me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. I'm a son of Musa Kumo and you are on Sagani TV, the best TV station you can ever find on planet Earth. And today on My Northern Achiever, we have another great personality. And it's always a delight to come your way with the show. And my opinion today is something that we are going to talk about, child streetism. And it is something that has been bothering me for quite some time now. And I feel that there is a need for us to talk about it. Walk through town these days, especially at night, and you will see a lot of children, minors they call them, children between the ages of 7 and 13 loitering town. Sometimes you wonder whether they have parents or not, and you wonder what kind of future these children would have. And I remember some few months ago, or about a year ago or so, the mayor of Tamale, Alhaji Musa Superior, tried a lot to take these children off the streets of Tamale. But the situation is not just in Tamale alone. Go to Yendi, go to Karaga, go to Bimbilla, go to every other part of the north, and the situation is the same. So, as Dagombes, as Nanumbes, as Mampusis, as Wales, as Gurunshis, as Northerners generally, what are we doing about the future of our children? I often say that sometimes you may think that your own child is not on the streets, but trust me, if some other people's children are on the streets, your child is going to be mingling with these street children at school, at Makaranta, and at other places. You can never tell who would influence your child, and these street children may most likely grow into becoming recalcitrant children or adults, becoming wayward adults, weed smokers, armed robbers, and any other thing that you can think of that is bad. I am not saying that every street child is going to grow to become bad, but the likelihood, the possibility, the probability that a child on the streets grow to become an irresponsible person is usually very high. So let's collectively take it as a responsibility upon ourselves to do whatever we can to minimize to the barest minimum the level of streetism or street children that we find on our roads. When we do this, it is going to help all of us to build a better society so that at least our country would be a better place. You can also always share with us your thoughts on any societal issue so we can put it on my opinion on My Northern Achiever. Today, like I said, we have a great personality like always, and I'm going to go for a very quick commercial break. I'm back shortly after I introduce my guest and we start the program. Don't go away. We're back shortly.
I am Sheikh Muhammad Al-Amin Bamba.
Alhaji Muhammad Mumuni, otherwise called Lawyer Mumuni.
Damascus Tuyoso.
Professor Amin Al-Hassan.
Yusuf Saidi.
Haja Mariam Idrisu.
Malik Al-Hassan Yakubu.
Abdullah Baba Salifi.
Salfi Said.
Ibrahim Tanku Amidu.
Abdurrahman Muhammad Hassan.
Haja Aishi Tusi.
Ahmed Abubakar Yusuf.
Keep watching My Northern Achiever.
Keep watching My Northern Achiever on Sagani TV.
Thank you for staying on My Northern Achiever, and I remain grateful to you for being loyal to me and my team. You know, every Friday, the number of people who are waiting to watch My Northern Achiever is just overwhelming, and I cannot thank you enough for keeping faith with us. Today on the show, I have in Anundo someone who really have toiled so hard to become who he is today. Not too many people really understand that he has been through a lot in life. We've often heard about him one way or the other. He had a lot of arts on our platform, Sagani TV, some time back. And I'm sure that he's going to come back, but this time on my Northern Achiever. By the time we finish this conversation, you would agree with me that even if he doesn't want to advertise again, he will still advertise on my Northern Achiever so that we can grow the program. My guest today is none other than Alhaji Nuhu Ilyasu, popularly known as NI, the owner of NI Ventures. Haj, you're welcome to the program.
Naabeli, thank you so much.
I'm so grateful because it's not been easy getting you.
Yeah.
You are in China, you are in somewhere, you are in Accra, everywhere. And, you know, I feel delighted that you are not a young man, so to speak, but you are not old neither. And so at this age, I don't know as to whether we can still call you youth, but at this age, you've been able to achieve so much for yourself. What has been the secret?
Thank you. I think I'm youth, no matter how you define it, because I'm not even 50. In fact, I am not 45 even.
Wow.
I'm less than 45. My name is Nuhu Ilyasu.
Okay.
But my colleagues called me NI. And a lot of people I do business with, they know me by the name NI. I'm born in Bimbilla.
Okay.
My parents had lived in Bimbilla.
Okay.
My dad is Nuhu Surehu.
Okay.
My mom is Ajiara. Matrilineally, we are 7 in the family. 7 children. But currently we are 6.
Oh,
because
sorry.
we lost 1. But patrilineally we are about, I think, 16.
Wow.
And now we are, I think, 12.
Okay.
4 have been called to glory. I started schooling in Bimbilla. And then later on, I went to Karachi in Volta region to stay with one of my grandmothers. That was somewhere around 1989. 89 or 1990, I can't remember the exact date. Unfortunately, she passed on and I had to return back to Bimbilla somewhere around 93. I came back to Bimbilla. When I was in Karachi, I was in P6. So I came back to Bimbilla and then I had to join school again. And the school I had to join, P6 was full. There was no space for me. But I had a friend. I didn't want to, be separated from that friend. Yeah. So I insisted that I joined P5. So I went back. I joined P5, and then by, I think, 94, I was in JSS1.
Okay.
JSS1, and then by 96, I had completed JSS.
So which school was this, primary and junior high school?
That was Jilo.
Jilo, okay.
Jilo Primary.
Yeah.
And then Jilo JSS. Then 97, I came here to school, Tamasco. Yeah, I was in
Tamasco.
Yes, Tamasco. Why? It's a nice place. I was in Tamaklo House.
I'm not going to talk too much. How can you see Ganasco and go to? You continue. Well, don't talk too much about that.
We'll not do that right here.
Yes.
When we completed Tamasco, 3 of us again went to T-Poly. That was in 2000. And in those days, when you complete secondary school and you qualify to go to the university, you would have to sit home for 1 year. I think we ended that thing. You have to be in the house for 1 year for your seniors to go to university before
you can also.
Yeah. So though I applied to go to UDS, I also applied to go to T-Poly because I didn't want to stay
at home for that long.
Yeah. So I was there for just 1 year, and then I went to.
So you went to T-Poly first for a year.
Yeah.
And then you left the course and now went to UDS.
UDS.
Okay. So which year were you admitted into UDS and what course did you read?
UDS, that was in 2001.
Okay.
2001, 2002. And then it was agri-technology.
Okay.
Yeah, but I majored in irrigation and mechanization technology.
Which campus was that?
That was Nyankpala. You know, those days it was in Nyankpala and Nabrongo. I think it was in our second year or third year that I think our second year that they started Uwa campus. Yeah.
Let's keep moving bit by bit. From UDS, obviously you would have done your national service. Where did you do that?
Yeah, from UDS, I went back to Bimbilla.
Okay.
And then, in fact, that was when I started what I am doing today. That was when I started the business. You know, when we completed and went home, you have to, you know, wait for some time before you get posted for national service. Very good. So, and I remember my final year in UDS, I bought a computer and a printer for my project work.
Okay.
So when I went home, I didn't want to, you know, just sit
idle
like that. So I discussed with my mom and I told her I want to be doing something. So she gave me money. I think 700 Ghana cedis at the time. But later on, she made it 1,000 when she saw that, you know, there was life in what I was doing. So I sold the computer also. And then I had just some small capital. And I started the business. And I was doing it when my posting came. And fortunately, I was posted to Bimbilla Secondary, Bimbisec.
Wow.
So, you know, I could go teach. I was teaching physics and chemistry. I could go teach.
Come back to the business.
You know,
monitor one or two things. Go back.
And go back to that thing, and that was how it started.
We're going to come back and talk a little more or a lot more about the business itself, how you are able to grow it. Today you have big branches, you know, in Bimbilla, in Yendi, and even in Tamale. It's impressive. And we'll have to talk a lot more. We need to get the secret weapon that you use to unlock, you know, these hard locks to be able to get this far. But staying with education and white-collar jobs, from national service, did you just forget everything about education, white-collar jobs, and concentrate on your business?
No, I didn't do that actually. Okay. Frankly, before I completed, I had wanted to join army, and I did try too. When I was doing my national service, I bought the forms, I applied. Unfortunately, I didn't get.
Okay.
So I started. I joined National Voluntary Service. I don't know whether they do it now. When you finish your national service,
I don't think they do it anymore.
Very good. So I started National Voluntary Service also. But along the way, I think somewhere in 2007.
Okay.
That was when I realized that I had to close my mind on army.
After trying several.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I closed my mind on army. And then I was like, well, teaching, you know, it's not in my heart actually. It's not what I had wanted to do, but that was what I was doing at the time.
That was what is available.
Yeah. So I said, now what would I do? And then I was like, wait, but this business I was doing was giving me more money in a month than
the salary that you would take.
You get it. So I say, oh, with this small capital, if I'm getting this much, what it means is that if I'm able to, you know, up my capital, I would get a lot. But I had issues with management, you know, handling of the business when I was not around. So I was thinking, and then one day I just sat there and said, well, if this thing fetches me money more than what I get here. In fact, the money I was getting, you know, I had my colleagues who were, they were regular staff, they were teachers. But what I was getting was even more than what they were being paid.
They would have been paid at the end of the month.
So I was like, now if I apply and I am made a regular teacher, what it means is that I will still be making less than what I get from this small shop. So I said, well, let me just close my mind and try something. You know, it was...
that was a bold and risky decision to take.
Yeah, very, very. And when I took that decision, a lot of my colleagues were not happy about it. A lot of my colleagues. In fact, at a point, I nearly just gave up. Because my mother even was not happy about it. But I knew what I was like. What I was seeing, I just knew that like this could be a potential. So I just closed my mind. People were, I just closed my mind. I said, I will not listen to anyone. So I resigned from Volu and I gave it time. And I saw
bit by bit.
Yeah.
Things were turned around with proper management.
And you know, when I was in UDS, that was the time no, not DVD, VCD. You know, that was the time it was. And then I went to Bimbilla. No one was selling those things.
Okay.
And then we are not far from Togo.
No, I don't want you to start telling them about these things. I want to keep my viewers today in a little suspense.
Okay.
You know, just keep your dial locked up on my Northern Achiever. We'll come and talk a lot about how it all started for NI and the kind of things that he did, the sacrifices that he made. We have to talk about it. You know, resigning from National Voluntary Service and refusing to continue being in, you know, the government sector, so to speak, just to concentrate on the business. It's a big risk and a sacrifice to make. But let's come to talk about your upbringing, the kind of home you came from or you come from, because we do know that your dad was polygamous and had about 16 children. Now, how was life growing up in a polygamous home? Was it a compound house? Was it the way we do it today? Your father has 2 wives, one is in Yendi, one is in Tamale. How was life growing up?
It was so beautiful. I am telling you. Look, I think we are leaving something behind and we are learning something foreign. It may not help us. Look, polygamy is not bad at all, to be honest with you. Because growing up, you and your siblings, you know, from other mothers, and even not from your
the extended family. Your cousins.
You know, look, you get up in the morning, you leave your dad's house, you go to your uncle's house, and it was just lovely. You sit together, you eat together, you do a whole lot of things together. But you see, now we don't see those things, especially in our major towns and cities. It's only in the villages that you see some of those things. Now, if you are polygamous, a lot of our brothers
they tease you and they make it look like you are
not even that. When you have 2 or 3 wives, most of the time you can't keep them in the same house. Now that is what is happening.
They throw them away,
far
apart from each other.
Very good. So the children do not get that kind of connect that we used to have.
They don't gel at all.
No. But I think it's polygamy is not a bad thing. But we were fortunate because I must say that growing up in the community that we were, I cannot say my dad or my parents were so rich, but I cannot also say
they were poor.
No. Where we were, at least people were looking up to us. You know, these guys are
they're the best. Right, this is where we are going to go for a very quick commercial break. We'll come back. NI is talking about polygamy is nice. Is this? How many wives has he? That he's just praising polygamy like that. We'll get to know all of this and more after this commercial break. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Thank you so much for staying on with me on My Northern Achiever. I am Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, your favorite host on My Northern Achiever. Today I have with me NI, the proprietor. I don't know as whether it's a company?
Managing proprietor.
Okay, the managing proprietor of NI Ventures, a big supermarket kind of business with 3 big branches that I know of. I don't know, maybe there are other places that there are branches that we don't know, but we'll quiz him and find out more about NI Ventures. And we were talking about family and how polygamy is nice. And the man let the bang from never bad ka halalan yara pa abu mpa ozo etwa the man la bi ana akpalen yare. I don't know, delay nyara kamane till mamle shekate to non de la mistake mo ba be ti ko ba kuna kapta banyare ya ne ko bora. And the san kamal na zam partisan pa bob polo de gban malam fa na sham jabu fune.
Okay. Nta ai libi agona ben shaka mala da nyimfiala kala male da nyimbiare tan pa bob go tambo da ben sha polygamy mo ayi yolle ya shele de dale hire galsi ya pam ame yila yule ya shele ka da mala you understand and so hala dina ne afanam ne yartisham ne abom za bobgo to ama ayi kayiko
yanku ba za ayi
ne en yiko shelben yarma ayi yule kala arkonko yato a de nyele kace yamangle amfana bi salone
masha Allah
so ade yare yamangle pa gan kan nambala.
Okay,
I have 1 and then I have 2 children. So I'm ambience and you man.
Okay.
Nanyala so chande.
Nesara amala wejira. Kamera da dar. So chande nanyala. To amela na ono kusara dala we abacha amforo so ka wejira kuma. To ka wejira supporter. Well,
supporter wona dinyala ben shao de yule nta pa abo wona ay kuliyambo den dam demi na ma surprisingly Antonia ka so yambo papa o pazo karkul nyana de kunana de kula ma ka pa ma te pena ko na pa ma te nya
ka ban plan na alliance ba wa haka ba na kaswanya
you understand so tilguma nyele but ato kule manage situation ma halka ta
battery zero fila zan pa yeto asha kula hal zo ya pam ka so yima pa abo when we ga ba me har ka shi gba on to mai yile kana kai ko no la mi yile shale ka bor pa na ka durde bi o yilla no ko chan wata bola du shi polon hayime zan pa on ba ma chan tun nan ni mani agba to pa second wife ma la ka no be mo ko yalla am nga asar ta ka de
ito pa tombate
but a quick one on this.
Okay.
I'm elated by what you just told me about the way you were raised with the family and everybody, and how happy you are knowing that you had a couple of people, growing up together. Now, how has that strengthened you, and what lessons did you pick from polygamy, growing up in a polygamous home?
I think that is what I just said. Salone.
Okay.
Because you see, anye bi agona tembian woma. I me zungwaji bi ane. Do you understand? And then kama bi agono kule mbian kate chenngoma yelum serle yi kule yempaga halu wona nya nta a yang dondong na kana yen yuli bosons
kana ni sambane.
You get it. So yi kule galse at least hale yi galse kama ka kule ka ban kule nye nonvu tufsa yi pune but Saloma yukule to abdela haldi nyala so biene kala arabi ban sha ko yanzanta amma o hankal nyala ban sha den yanku bukata nan wala zanta so yukule galsa danne halwula amfani yan biyan maka yiti da fu.
Wow, I think we are learning a lot from NI and manguna mayu ne kaman pumpon da lirshalin chaka pa bobo ko non de twama man jilim hankal pune the mala kamane donwi pa jimi o mi no pa ita man nwana wona pa cha no en po ya pa na ko to wu pa ma ko ba so I malala mind ma an ku po pa so na ma ayen liula ban hankal sha karo ne kaman waljira la ka barka so man zanda na to waljira ko ba ka waljira me ko ma shi ngula mi no kana ko ba wu ko ba so ayen nyam kamane ka ba pilege ne nyi nwan gudan ta ba but the vin me ka mi na pa nyasa kulin ya asibje yalan ka to ban kulin bu amo sha hadi jam na adam lur to ka ma de yiko ka adam to don kulin ko sa ka so piana pa sa ayen nyam bi piana de malan nan ban yin gar kamane agwene apatin manyen yon wonen yin ka bon na shuyo ko ba well at the end of the day yin bakare na am gar so ka. But now let's come to talk a little more about the kind of struggles that you've also had in life before you got to where you are. You know, what kind of struggles can you reckon, even before we come to talk proper about how NI started, what business you started with, and how you've been able to grow it? What kind of struggles have you been through?
Nta bi agupu no wona akuto di kuli yesana kuli nyele straight throughout. No, you know, it is always ups and downs. So challenges bien pam.
Okay.
To ama nta ama wona I have overcome them. I have overcome. I had problems with people. I think I have had a lot of problem with trusting people. You know, come on, kule until near you know, come on, so betrayer. Karpala come on as yada. Come on.
As actually amala iman pam. Akula ntida adam yada hekumai wara.
That is it. And you don't get the pain when somebody betrays you and like he's somebody you have not trusted. You don't, but somebody
at least
feel
you
like
already saw it coming. But someone you trust so much with your life betraying you
and
becomes...
suddenly it happens. Look, it is a very difficult thing. But at least you see there is something. All those things, kaman laben yari kanatena. You don't have a way out. Just leave it and walk away. Because once you keep it in you, it keeps hurting you every day, every night.
It draws you back.
Yeah. So you have to pull back on come on, like with what is happening or what has happened. Come on, there is nothing. Don't fight so much for it. No. When you begin to fight such people, you are wasting your energy. You know, the ones that are gone, just let them go, and then you channel your energy into new things. So,
did you ever, at some point during your struggles, the times that things weren't right, things weren't going on well with you, have a girlfriend that thought that, look, this guy is just some useless guy. He has left Karachi Tale to go and do some stupid trade, you know, and this girlfriend left you. Did you ever have such a problem?
Unfortunately, I've never had that problem.
That's great.
Because you see, as a time shall cherry do you like Karachi Talma, and even what I was doing at that time, even though it was small, but the prospect was good.
Yeah. So anybody who has vision would see that.
You see, even my colleagues, those I was teaching with, my mates who were criticizing me for resigning from, you know, later on they see me and say, "Oh, N.I., as for you, you are blessed." You get it? So throughout, like, and I am, I don't know what kind of person I am, because me, I don't put my heart in love.
Okay.
No, I don't. In fact, in relationships, I don't do that. I would be fine, but once I see that it is not going well, or once I see that you are backtracking, I don't force to pull you back. I let go and then I jump onto it.
Yeah. I think this is a lesson we can also pick from. And don't put your mind so much into something that is, drawing back. It will just draw you back. So if you're a young guy, or a young lady today, and you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend who is trying to misbehave and make your mind unstable, Charlie, advise yourself. The world is just one. You have just one life. Live it well.
So now let's come to start talking about how NI Ventures started. We know that you came from school, and then whilst you were doing your volo, you started the business even before the volo, but you decided to resign and come and focus on the business. What kind of business were you doing, and how was it faring?
It's mostly buying and selling.
Okay.
And then, like I was telling you, when I came back from school, that was the time, what was the name? VCD.
Yes,
VCD just started coming in. And that place, a lot of people didn't even know about it. And I was buying, I was buying some kind of decorative things from Accra. And like, I displayed the goods in such a way that once you come into the shop, at least something will attract you. I will get you to buy at least one thing. So I decided I was going to Lume to buy these VCDs. And then, unfortunately for me, that time we had Operation Gong. There was this police and military. They were doing peacekeeping there around 2006 thereabout.
Okay.
So I went once. I went to Lume. I bought DVDs. No, VCDs.
VCD, yeah. Video compact disc player.
I brought them and it sold like hotcake.
Wow.
I went back. And then when I went back, I had some woof.
Yeah, you got some
woof.
Yeah.
And so when they realized, in fact, they needed those things.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of them would give me money even before I go.
In advance.
Yeah. And that was the way I started. So sometimes you'll be there and somebody will go, "Oh, N.I., I want this thing." Like things I don't sell. So I was building on my business line based on requests.
Customer request.
You get it. So if I have a demand for something, when I go, if the demand is, let's say, 2 units, I get 4 or 5 units. Same person, when his colleagues, the Gong operation guys, when his colleagues see
they also say they want some.
So that was the way I started, and I was building on the product line. I was adding each time I went, I bring something new. Each time so just little by little, and I actually started in a kiosk. It was in the veranda of a kiosk on a table.
The one we call Ate.
Ate. Well, this is not Ate because Ate mostly is not electrical appliance.
Yeah.
That
just like toffees,
milk and those things. But this one was electrical appliance. Yeah. So just little by little, I moved into the kiosk because the space in the veranda couldn't contain. And then we moved from that, and I had a shop. I rented a shop.
Then
kept on building.
Kept growing.
Yeah. So I was doing that till I think 2009. 2009, I said, well, I have to get somebody to handle this one. So I gave it to my younger brother who was in charge, and I went to Gimpa to do my master's. So from Gimpa, I came back. In fact, I learned a lot. It was an eye opener for me. Yeah, because what I was doing, I learned a lot as to how to expand. How to expand it, even though I was not having the required capital to do it the way I had wanted to do it, but at least it helped me. And then I can't remember which year, somewhere around 2014, there was this product by GCB. They were giving money to some small scale businesses to expand. Yeah, and then the manager at the time recommended me. So I came to Tamale here. I prepared my account balances and those things, and that was my first loan that I got from the bank. It was not disappointing. I didn't disappoint them. I didn't disappoint them because my payment was 100% on time. Yeah, so and that was for just it was for 6 months period, because you needed no collateral. So they cannot give you a huge amount that will you pay for a very long period. So I finished paying. I went in for another one, finished paying, and then when I went for the third time, he said, "Oh, the way your account is growing, why don't you get a collateral, and then we can put you on
bigger."
So, and fortunately, I was putting up some storyboard in Bimbilla. So I went and prepared the documents. Yeah, I came to Tamale here. I went to Lands Commission. They did all those things for me.
And everything.
Yeah.
And then you use that as collateral. Then you got a huge amount.
And that was when I started moving from Tamale. No, sorry, from Bimbilla I came to Tamale here first. And the place I got, around this Central Mosque, Uncle Fuzi's story building, just Park Pharmacy. Yeah. I was in the same building with them. Yeah. So later on, the place couldn't contain.
Was too small.
Yeah. And then I had this place in Yendi, which was bigger than
the Tamale one.
So I moved the shop to Yendi. I moved it from Tamale to Yendi. And then I came back to Tamale, and I was looking for space again. Unfortunately for me, I think last 2 years.
You got one.
I got space.
Around West Hospital.
Around West Hospital, yes. Just at the Zogele Pikwana Junction.
Now we'll come to talk a bit about the management strategies you've put in place, the kind of how you've been able, the number of people you are employing, and how you've been able to, manage this business to this particular level. But after this commercial break, we are with Alhaji NI, the managing proprietor of NI Ventures, and he's a business tycoon, and he's just telling us a bit about how it all started and how he's been able to grow it to this particular point. If you are not motivated as youth at this point, you would never be motivated. We're back after this commercial break.
movers and the shakers. Number one, never let somebody censor you.
I am a native of Dabong.
Go back to the Holy Quran for solutions. Now the Al-Quran bin Shah Zumba.
And you'll want Abdul-Jalil Imam Mahmoud Alhaji Nuhu Imam Mustafa.
Look at your beauty beyond your physical appearance.
Why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, the son of Musa Kumo, as my guests and I throw you life-changing stories.
Make a date every Friday at 8:30 p.m. only on Sagani TV.
Well, I am having a lot of fun here at Ghana Hotel. You know, I always tell you and I will tell you again that Ghana Hotel is the best hotel you can ever find in Tamale and in the north. Indeed, it is a hotel that can, you know, rub shoulders with any hotel in Accra and any other part of the world. You need to just come to Ghana Hotel and have a feel of the environment yourself. If I keep telling you this, you may think that I'm just making math. Come there. Like they have a restaurant, an intercontinental restaurant at that. There's a swimming pool, there's a gym, there's executive lounge, suites, any kind of accommodation you want at Ghana Hotel, you are going to find it. We have to begin doing honeymoon for ourselves, even in Dagbon. Just come here for 3 or 4 days after your wedding with your wife. Have, you know, a serene environment away from all this noise and disturbances, you know, and enjoy yourself. Probably, in fact, during that period when you conceive, I'm going to give birth to a very nice child. So you have to come to Ghana Hotel and have a feel of the environment, and you will never regret you do. Now we're talking about how NI has been able to grow his business, and when we're off air, he was saying that life itself is a risk. And Charlie, I agree with him totally. I always say that life itself is a risk, because the mere fact that when you sleep, you don't know whether you wake up or not, yet we sleep. It's the biggest, in fact, sleeping is the biggest risk any human being can ever take. But we do sleep, because when you close your eyes and you sleep, you don't know whether you wake up or not. But you don't sleep because you don't know that for sure you will not sleep. You still go to bed. And so he took a risk, and today it is paying off. And we can only say that let's draw motivation from this. But let's come to talk about the management strategies that you put in place to be able to grow it to this level.
I think currently I have 3 managers.
Okay.
Very able. And you see, what I do is that I don't just open a shop and then I go get a manager. No.
Okay.
All my managers are people that I have trained myself. So, like, you be with me for some time, you see the way I do it. You know, I let you do it for me to supervise for, you know, some time. When I am satisfied, you know, then I hand over to you. And when I hand over to you, you know, you also have people that
you also mentor.
You get it. So that in case
you are incapacitated,
you know, you want to step out and do something for 3-4 days, at least there would be somebody who would do it exactly the way that you have been doing it, or exactly the way that I have been doing it. You know, so the secret actually is this: you have to be with me, see the way I do it, learn from me, because people would have different styles of management. My style may be different from your style. So if you bring your style to do my business, it may not work out well. Yeah. So.
Wow. And it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. And I believe that we are drawing a lot of inspiration and motivation from this. But let's come to now talk about the contemporary youth. You are youth yourself, but looking at the way we are today, we chase more after the white collar jobs, which are non-existent anyway, than going into other businesses. What do you have to tell us?
You see, I think that is going to be problematic for us in the near future, because when you look at the number of people who graduate from schools, from secondary school, polytechnic, university, our tech, look, that is a lot. There is no space in the public sector to accommodate all these people. Me sitting here, I don't pray that one day my child or my children will finish school and then he will be willing to be employed by the government. Well, that is what
on their own.
You get it. That is what I think. But if he finishes and he wants to find that, but the thing is this: our public sector is actually choked up. You go into the offices that we have. Look, sometimes you have a role that can be performed by one person. They will split it, because just trying to let 2 or 3 people have a role that one person should have played. You get it? And you see, when you do that, what happens is this: now the role that you could have played alone, now you have 2 or 3 people joining you to play that role. You cannot be paid how much you would have been paid. You cannot be paid how much you would have been paid, because your payment would have to be split between the other guys, because they can't work and go home like empty-handed. You get it? And I think we also have a challenge with our educational curriculum, the way it is designed. Just read, pass, get certificate, and then go show to an employer, I have this, then he employs you. No, it's not. I think that's the crust of our problem. Let people, growing up, our children, let us identify talents. Those who have talent in carpentry, let us help them to do carpentry. Those who have talent in, say, masonry, let us help them to do that. You see, there is money in there. In fact, look, they make much more money, sometimes more than those who are doing this white collar job. You can have a building, call a carpenter, I want you to roof this building for me. He comes, look at it and say, well, you pay 6,000, you pay 7,000. You get it? And it is a job he can finish in 1 week.
Yeah.
He does it. Let's say, what is his input? He doesn't buy anything. Maybe he tools. He needs just to buy some hammer, some saws.
And that is what he will use for a long time.
You get it? Now he gets 5,000 or 6,000. Let's say his chop money and everything. At the end of the day, he has 3,000 for 1 week. But somebody would go to office work at the end of the month. He gets 2,500.
1,500.
You get it? Now he has worked for 1 week and he's having 3,000. Assuming he gets 2 of such jobs
in a month.
But you see, we don't even value those people. If you are in a family with such a person and you are a teacher, there is a problem in the family. You get it? Meanwhile, the money you are actually getting, when you aggregate it at the end of the month, you actually earn more than him. So I think going forward, we would have to look at the way our education. We have to place more emphasis on technical education. I think that would help us more than this mass production of graduates who would come out and there is no place to fix them. And you see, when you have an educated workforce that is sitting idle, is very dangerous.
Extremely.
It is very dangerous. Because see, look at all these things we are having. This what's the name? Internet fraud. Look, people have been exposed to technology. Now he has no place to work with what he has had. What do you expect him to do?
He will go and use dubious means.
You get it. These are they are physically strong, armed robbery, all those things. You get people who are armed robbers and they have completed school. Why? He has no work to do, but he has a family to feed. So we would have to relook at our educational system.
Wow, wonderful thoughts here from NI. I couldn't agree more with you on this particular point. A lot of people, scholars, and many more others have talked about this, but it's like our politicians who have taken over the educational curriculum would not listen to us. So probably we would have to look at it in another way. One of these days I will bring it up on my opinion, and then we will see how best we can all join our hands to tackle this menace that is trying to ruin our country in the very near future. But we've been talking a lot, and time is also of essence. And so at this particular point, I would just like to get your life principles. You know, there are usually things that you put in place as a human being that has always guided you throughout your life. What are these principles?
You see, one is integrity.
Okay.
Two, perseverance. Those two things. Now, whatsoever you do in human society, your integrity must be intact. People would have to trust you. If you are buying and selling like we are doing, look, your suppliers would have to trust you. The people you sell to, they also would have to trust you. Because look, don't go and see, something cheap, like,
and you want to sell
poor quality, and then you come tell, oh, Naabeli, as for this one, oh, look, he would buy it, but remember, he will not come back to you. And when you are doing what we are doing, and you don't get repeat purchase, look, you are off. If somebody buys today from you and he doesn't come back, or another person sees him and say, oh, where did you buy this? I want something. Then you tell, oh, as for this man, don't go to him. That would not work for you. And then your suppliers also, you have to find a way of letting them trust you.
Building that trust.
You get it? Because sometimes you can get demand for something, but at that point you don't have the financial strength to go pay for it and pick it. But if you have integrity, all you need to do is to call your supplier. Just tell him, I have demand for this unit of items, but I don't have the money now. I would send you money in 2 days, 3 days. If you have integrity, he gives you. And when he gives you, please make sure that if you have promised him 3 days, within the 3 days, find his money and give to him. Just in case you don't find the money, call him, talk to him, let him understand why you have not had the money or why you are not giving him the money. And then you can schedule another period and make sure you don't miss that period. You pay him within that period. That's the principle.
Build it. Wow. This is free consultancy for everybody watching. I am touched, seriously, and you see that today I'm not even talking. I'm just listening, because everything he says comes with deep wisdom and deep sense. And I couldn't have had a better, guest for today. Now, in fact, I'm your customer.
Okay.
Yes, I buy a couple of things at NI in Yendi.
Yeah.
My television set I bought in NI, my curtains, and so many other things. And a lot of the things I buy from NI are usually of top quality that I can vouch for. Where do you buy your products?
The items that we sell, some of them you cannot import.
Okay.
There are some you can import, but some of them you cannot. Because you see, especially the branded items, if you have something like West Point or LG, you cannot go outside and buy LG.
Okay.
Because somebody has the certificate. It is somebody's, what is the name? is somebody's product, you cannot bring it. You get it. So all you need to do is to get the people who have the certificate for those things
in the country.
And then you get from them. Now, one thing also about sourcing is this: you can buy, let's say, West Point. If you are not buying from the person who has the certificate, you are buying at a higher price. So at all costs, you have to find a person who has a certificate, buy from him. And then even when you buy from such people and you have problems, you can get sorted out. You get it. Okay. But when you buy from outside and then you have a problem with the,
you cannot retain it, and then it becomes a burden on you. It's your loss.
Yeah. You get it. But if there is a problem with that badge, and you know it is this person who has the certificate, all you need to do is
ship it back to him. And he will find a way of,
you either replace it for you,
or you get your back your money.
Yeah.
Like I said before, another free consultancy. It's good to do business, but it's also always good to, learn. Yes, learn the strings attached, how to pull the strings and get things done the right way. Otherwise, you would be doing business and you would fail, and others are prospering, and you don't understand why. Always ask the right questions. Get apprenticeship. If you don't have the technical, the knowledge of what you're doing, get someone who already has something doing on it. Get the expertise. Let the person mentor you, so that at least at the end of the day, you can also stand on your own. Don't just get up and say, I want to do this, and that's what I'm going to do. But let's take a final leave of you, because we've been talking for an hour now. But what would be your final words to anybody watching right about now?
My final words would be to the youth. I'm also you, but at least those who are what is the name?
Very young one.
There is no need to rush.
Okay.
Don't rush. And hard work pays. Do not look at your colleague and say, well, oh, this person was my classmate, or this person is my age mate. Now see where he is and see where I am. No. God has a plan for everybody. Your plan actually may be bigger than his, but just that the time is not up. So I'll only plead that at least just get something doing. Okay. Don't sit idle. Keep doing what you are doing, and also keep praying. Yeah, by the will of God, your time would come.
Wow. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep praying. By grace of God, your time will also come. And this is where time is going to allow it. But do you have anyone that you want to say shout outs to? I'm sure.
Yes. To my family.
Okay.
My able staff who have been managing my business for me. I say a big thank you to everybody, and may God bless you.
How about Weljira?
That's my family. So.
I thought you were singing her out and just mention her.
Yeah. She's a wonderful person, very helpful, and she is in charge of the Tamale shop.
Okay.
Very hardworking. Okay. Yeah. In fact, sometimes you go there and see her working, and you'll be like, sometimes people come and say, hey, but she doesn't
want to.
Very hardworking.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I appreciate it, and I respect her so much.
Mashallah.
Like I said, God has a plan for everybody. In 2014, there was a chieftaincy
crisis in Bimbilla.
Bimbilla. It has affected me a lot.
Okay. All right.
Because 2012, 2013 up to 2014, look, the turnover was amazing.
Then the conflict just came,
and everything just
came to a standstill. Did it ever make?
And you see, and at that time, I was only in Bimbilla,
yeah.
Yes, and so I had a lot of inventory. Wow. I had a lot of inventory. So I was thinking, I just sat there and said, so now what am I going to do? And you don't even go to the market sometimes. And sometimes when you go and sit down and nothing happens. So I sat down, I was like, now I don't have physical cash, but I have the inventory. What am I going to do? So I thought of a plan. I said, well, once the inventory is there, people want it, but they are not having the money to buy it. Let me give to people who will pay me back. And I wouldn't give to, one of my policies is I don't sell on credit. You come and buy with cash, no matter how small the profit is. I think I prefer that. So I said, well, I don't sell on credit, but how do I give this thing to people? So I just quickly put down some notice for people who are salaried earners. And then I went to commercial bank and I had this arrangement with them. If somebody wants it, if you want a laptop, come take it. And then they raise a standing instruction in my name.
Okay.
So at the end of the month, they pay 1/3. They pay 1/3 of the cost of the item into my account. So within 3-4 months,
you are done.
My inventory went down. You know, and like people were now keeping the inventory. I was expecting money. You get it? So when the money came, and market was still not up. I said, well, I cannot continue doing this.
In Bimbilla alone.
Yes. So that was when I
came to
Tamale.
Then later to Yendi. So on all of these notes, Zamabuka Mala, Dama Bimbilla, Mantambo yet for Amana Bandagi, Alexander Kapumba, Nazan Tipumbla, and Sasana Bayne.
Enter I lay Bimbilla and found a bit of one man to Amma to go to Pala and found a Martinala to Noyam Pataba. And you see, I lere Benman and Bisham, but come on, la Namamaya to I, the cool Simpson to cool challenge and Tinium Kurama, Tanam Bimoma, Tea and Doleba. Now, so the way in Fieltite. Halta Bipala, Tiukule Yidapune, Kakuli Chality is our Kuraban Simpson away. Mother Pia. The left Satania and the Pam, the zone I want to cut to Bang.
On this note, we say thank you so very much, Alhaji Nuhu Ilyasu, for making up time with us on my Northern Achiever. It's been a wonderful experience, and I believe that a lot of youth today have learned so much from you, and we can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Well, viewers, this is where time is going to allow us for today. It's been a wonderful experience, like I said before. And I do believe that each and every one of us has taken away 1 or 2 lessons that would help us grow in one way or the other in life. At this point, I can only say thank you so much, my crew, Jawais, Latif, and every other person behind the cameras and pushing my Northern Achiever to the next heights. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Until I come again your way next week, a shout out will go to El Boga. Good night. Bye bye for now.